rival for the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos taking on the Lavington Panthers. It is first v second. My name's Hannah Davies, and today I'm joined in commentary by Ree Dollar-Henty and Tamara Matthews.
Hello, Hannah. It's good to be back, although I'm wishing I was in the 35-degree heat that I was laying out on the sun in this time last week.
Hello, Han, and yes, Ray, good to have you back. You didn't bring any sunshine with you, though, I've noticed.
I did try. It was nice yesterday, but it's back to reality while we were away. One of the girls that I was with is from Gisborne, and she FaceTimed her kids, and they were playing in the snow out the front of their house in Gisborne. So marked differences, but it is nice to be home, and great to be here at Corowa for Corowa versus Lavington 1 versus 3 today.
Oh, 1 versus 3. Sorry, that is my bad. The ladder did change since last week. But before we go any further, I'd just like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we broadcast from today, the Wiradjuri and Yorta Yorta people, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and extend this respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people here today. Ladies, let's take a look at the ladder. I feel like I may have gotten the wrong ladder. Is Lavington 2?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
I think Lavi's in 3. I think Yarrawonga and Lavington are the same there. I'll quickly double check that. But regardless, we haven't seen these two teams play since round 1, which was an epic battle, and I'm assuming to see the same today.
Yeah, it should be a cracking game. I think that Corowa have just been completely unbeatable so far. But Lavi are definitely on the rise. Yeah, it is 1v2, we can confirm. So 1v2. Tam, what are we expecting today?
I think this is going to be a ripper game. Look, they did play in the season opener, and so there's a lot of water under the bridge since then. There's very different teams going to be taking the court today to what we saw then. So I'm expecting a huge game. I think we know where Corowa sit. Lavington are probably gone under the radar to some degree, but I think today is a really good opportunity to see where they're at, given that finals are only a few weeks away.
Definitely, and interesting to see what combinations both teams will start with. I assume that for Corowa-Rutherglen, we'll see something that we've seen very, very regularly for them, which is starting to work. Obviously, that injury to Liv Sinclair a couple of rounds ago took them back to the drawing board a little bit in regards to their wing attack centre combination, but they were able to pull from the depths of their B grade. And Maddie O'Keefe, last time we broadcast the Corowa girls, she was really seamless in that connection to both Grace or Chloe Senior in the goal circle. So it will be an epic battle for whoever has that wing defence position for Lavington to really shut that down. And it'll be interesting what combination they decide to go with. They've probably got 4 really competent circle defenders, and which combination coach Linda Robinson goes to there will be interesting, as well as what they can do in the shooting lineup. We know that Maddie Plunkett can hold really strong. She's got that presence under the ring, but with Emily Stewart out in goal attack, or throwing Liv Sanson out in there, or putting Emily Stewart and Liv Sanson in the circle together makes that a really moving circle. So will be interesting to see what Lavington's starting lineup is.
And last time these played, Emily Stewart didn't play, and Angela Manuel didn't play either, and obviously Sarah Meredith hadn't returned. So three key players there that are in today that didn't play the season opener. And as we said, for Corowa, Liv Sinclair was playing, and they also had Lily Sharp, who played last time, and Tony Lind, who neither of those girls are playing today either. So a little bit different look for both sides.
And while we're looking at the ladder, I think we have to mention that 5th placed Albury. Ree, we were speaking off air that they've had a few big outs this week, and you can also give us an injury update on Emily Rodd, who last week, if you followed our broadcast, went down in the dying seconds of their great win.
And yes, unfortunately for Em, an Achilles rupture there, a full rupture according to Sky Hillier. That's what the scans later on in the afternoon confirmed. So sad for her. They were really starting to really gel as an attacking end. I mentioned on the broadcast with Robbie and Gus this morning that Em's previously kind of predominantly played more a goal shooter, goal attack role, so she'd swung out to wing attack, teaming up really well with Alison Miani and Sky Hillier in that goal circle. So that's a big out for them. In the last 2 weeks as a team, they have put on really, really great score margins, and they've been really happy with their effort as a team. Sky Hillier using that quote that everyone's just played their role and it's starting to gel. So she's also out today due to COVID. They were down to 4. I was saying to you, Han, I got a sneaky message asking me if I'd like to donor dress, but it didn't quite work out. So I think Wang will have the edge there today, and I'm disappointed for Albury because had they been at full strength, that would have made it really, really competitive. And for them to get that game to be equal with Wangaratta Magpies was really important, because we've been speaking about as well North Albury and Raiders playing today. They're both on equal points, just that game and a half behind.
Yeah, I agree. I think this would have been an absolute ripper of a game, but like you said, Albury are under strength, and I think that's really going to affect their performance. Having said that, I do know that Han Grady is not at 100%, and I think Katie Dean is the same. They both only played a half a game last week each. So Liv Richards came up from B, did a stellar job by all reports. So, yeah, I think Wang will be too good. But as you said, that fight for fifth spot, looking at the ladder and the games that these clubs have left, you know, they've all got a couple of teams in that top sort of 3-4. Raiders and Albury play each other still to come. And I think, you know, Raiders probably have to beat them and they have to knock off one of those top sides if they're going to get into the finals. But they're excited that they're in with a chance and anything can happen.
And I think while we're talking about some of the other games that are happening today, a shout out to Sarah Jones at the Albury Tigers. She's playing her 200th O&M game. She started at the Lavington Panthers with her sister Neray, headed out to Murray Magpies, had a few seasons out there. Her now husband Alex plays football at the Tigers and she's ended up there as well. So 200 games for her. And as well, Jacqueline McAlpin. She's playing her 300th game at the Myrtleford Alpine Saints today as well. And I know she was a part of their premiership winning teams in 2002 and 2003, has been a stalwart player, coach, someone I think, Tam, that is involved with their committee and has been for a long time. So congratulations to both players, epic milestones.
Huge.
So it's a massive round this week. Obviously today we're seeing 1v2, Albury and Wangers 5v4, North Raiders 6 and 7, and then down the other end of the ladder is Rovers v Mertz. I guess the standout there is probably the Raiders, who have the potential now that Albury, you know, the loss of Emerald is pretty massive considering the season she's been having. So maybe for the Raiders taking on North, we know North have so much potential in their lineup, but just a few games that just slipped away from them as well.
And they've got some injuries as well. Maddie Pearson, Neve Boy are both injured with hands. And I think across their club they've got injuries and illnesses, so they're sort of really clutching at straws just to field teams across their grades, and that's obviously going to have an impact on A grades. So, and
I think both teams will be really disappointed with the consistency that they were hoping to bring out. We saw North had that epic win against Wang Magpies by that 16-goal, 12-goal margin, whatever it was, and we thought we were really pumped to see big things, and then they've kind of dropped off. Raiders too have really made contested games, but then made some really hard wins for themselves against those kind of bottom-ranked teams. So I think, yeah, it will be interesting. I think North are just that little bit harder to beat at home. That home ground advantage for them, they are really hard to beat there. So it will be interesting how they can rally the troops and how Em Brown does that to the best of her ability.
Yeah, and I do know that Em has been unwell herself this week, so I really hope she's back at full capacity, because there's nothing better than seeing her in full flight, and they're going to need her today, and she will really ensure that they take it up to Raiders.
So back on court, let's take a look at the Insight Injury Clinic team cards for the Roos, coached by Georgie Bruce. A pretty standard lineup and a very consistent lineup. Grace Senior starting in goal shooter, sister Chloe Senior in goal attack, Maddie O'Keefe in wing attack, Brooke Bice in centre, Em Larissy wing defence, Soph Hanrahan in goal defence, and Jen Barrett in goalkeeper.
Great lineup for them, and a very steady lineup for them. The last game when we saw them play against Wag Magpies, it remained unchanged for their 4 quarters. They perhaps could have taken the opportunity to rotate something in the last quarter, but they opted not to and just really extended that lead. So I think they're really confident with that 7, and why not, particularly when you're still trying to find that really cemented combination of Maddie O'Keefe in wing attack and Brooke Bice in centre. the hardest part, I think, for the Panthers to combat that is if either of them get the ball and have enough space, they're going to ping it into either of the senior sisters. And credit to Chloe and Grace, they've been working really well in there. They do play very similar games. They know how each other plays as well, which is a real strength. Will be interesting to see if Grace comes out to goal attack. We did predict that maybe happened last time we broadcast them, and it didn't. And I think that she can be very damaging out there as well, because she can go in full flight, a bit like Soph Hanrahan through that mid-court. She can pick off a few defensive balls as well. So very standard for them, but I expect to see them really fly.
Yeah, and for Lavington, they're starting with Grace Hayback in keeper, Maggie Thompson in goal defence. Maggie didn't play in the circle against Corowa last time. It was Taylor and Grace. So Steph Clancy into wing defence, Angela Manuel centre, and Maddie Lloyd wing attack. Very consistent mid-court there. Em Stewart will start in goal attack and Maddie Plunkett in goal shooter. And that's a very standard starting lineup for them too. Their bench has Sarah Meredith, Taylor Ferber and Liv Sanson. So some depth off the bench for them. And I have no doubt they will be making quite a few changes. For me, the key matchup here is going to be, I think, Maddie Lloyd and Em Larissy. I think we know what we're going to get in the goal circles. We know that Soph is going to really take it up to Maddie Plunkett and make life hard for her when she drops back. We know, on the other hand, Gracie Hayes going to be backing herself against Grace Senior. So we're going to see some great contests there. For me, it's going to be in the mid-court, and I think the Maddie Lloyd, Em Larissy, and then the Brooke Bice and Angela Manuel matchups are where it really needs to be opened up and see who can hit that circle.
And for me, I think Soph Hanrahan against Em Stewart is going to be electric. They're two of the best players in the league, and massive standouts for their team, and two players that really lift in those high pressure moments. We know Soph is capable of taking many intercepts in a game, but Em Stewart's also just incredibly athletic and really works with any shooter as well. So, you know, if Soph gets a hand on the game, do they bring in Liv Sanson and mix things up?
And I was going to say, last time against Wang, I felt, you know, they left Georgia Clark back, Soph played out, and they played one-on-one for a good half. When they dropped Soph back and isolated the goal attack, they really had a big impact and shut down Georgia. I'll be interested to see how long it takes them to do that today. I don't think Soph can afford to spend too much time out chasing Em Stewart. Em's not putting up huge amounts of goals, enough to win them a game. Maddie Plunkett is, and I think they really need to think about, do they drop back, go 2-on-1, stop those balls in, because that game against Yarrawonga, she was outstanding, Maddie Plunkett. She was getting it under the post, was never going to miss. So that I will be interested to see how those defensive combinations work.
Yeah, and also when we're talking about Liv Sanson, she came on and she really made a difference in that Albury-Lavington game where the scoreboard ebbed and flowed, and she only did get that quarter, but she really made a difference. So her, as a young player, understanding that role as an impact player is really important. Shout out to brother Charlie. He's debuting in the first grade for Corowa-Rutherglen today, so it's a big day for the Sansons here, as we see both teams here just taking their final huddles, getting ready for this first centre pass.
So last time these two teams played was back in the season opener, and Corowa took that one out 41-33. Before you go to the sideline, Tam, who are you tipping?
I'm going to tip Corowa. I think they'll be too good, but I think this should be a ripping game.
Reece?
Yep, I'm going to go Corowa as well, but I don't know. A draw's on the card. There was a draw in the footy last night.
It was.
Let's see how we go. I'm calling it now.
Oh, it's so hard to predict a draw, isn't it? But I think of all days, it could be today. Two pretty great lineups from both sides. See the players just taking the court, just waiting for that last minute.
Thinking it might be a Corowa centre pass to start by the looks of which umpire. Yep, passing the ball on to Brooke Bice. So Corowa-Rutherglen here with the first centre pass to kick us off for round 14.
Brooke Bice first.
There off the ball from Maddie Lloyd, just trying to get some front position. There's obviously that height mix match between Em Larissy and Maddie Lloyd, so it'll be interesting as we see Jem Barrett flirting with the base sideline, but just not quite getting enough on the ball to keep it in.
And a pass over from Lloyd, unexpectedly, just goes over Plunkett. Perhaps just that threat of Barrett and Hanrahan already kind of setting in for the Lavington attackers.
Great defensive pressure from Maddie Plunkett there, and it is a held ball. Great hands over, kept her distance enough to really shut that pass out. So we won't want to see too many of them from the Roos. And Demamiel on to Stewart, to Lloyd, hitting the circle nicely.
And a causing contact call there against Hanrahan. And M. Stewart hits the scoreboard for the first time in this first quarter for Cavalier Homes.
A nice goal there off their own centre pass. So we talk about netball being a game where you want to convert your own centre passes, and let's see if the Panthers can do that now.
Demamiel switches to Lloyd and straight into Stewart. Not in yet, but a brilliant rebound. And just trickles in there for Stewart.
Oh, they're the ones you hold your breath for.
So 2-0 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard. Sometimes we've seen Corowa start a little slow, Ree, but it doesn't usually last long. But Grace Hay says otherwise.
They're the balls that she is just on fire underneath, and she won't let any of them go astray today, as we see Clancy transitioning nicely to wing attack Maddie Lloyd. They opt for the double play. Back to Demamiel again. The Panthers here happy to just play the ball around, hands over pressure from the Roos. But they've managed to get it into their attacking third. Still happy using Clancy on that transition line, and a great feed from Stewart in, but Plunkett coming in off court there for that rebound. She didn't have a landed foot on to take that, but had she, could have been very interesting.
Nearly a 3D lanes highlight of the day so far. And Soph Hanrahan, an unusual pass goes over a third, so they're calling a throw in, so Panthers.
Just a few unforced errors from both teams to start, but that probably credit to the pressure from each, and they know how crucial this game is just to see where each other really are situated.
And Thompson just helping out in that centre channel. And Stewart lines up a beautiful shuffle back, puts her in perfect position. And there we go, Lavington Panthers 3-0, the 777 Automotive scoreboard, with about 12 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Fantastic. Run over. Quick feed into Stewart, and now we're out to 4. So Coral really want to convert this centre and just get a score on the board.
And Maddie O'Keefe being kept a little bit quiet by Steph Clancy. She was electric in the last game we commentated for her, but a miss there from Grace Senior, unusual. And she finds the post, so the Roos' first goal here. Still trailing by 3 on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
Clancy opting to help out there in that centre pass. Good pressure from Jen Barrett on the hold of Plunkett, but she gets the ball right under the post there, and she's able to have a second shot here, a penalty going the way of the Panthers. So 5-1 in favour of the visitors on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
And Grace Hay is just all over the seniors at the moment. I think the tactic for the Roos in previous weeks has been to look straight into the circle, but Grace Hay is causing absolute havoc in there.
And that was great footwork from Grace Hay. You actually saw her step in front of Grace Senior to get that ball. So the Roos, though, replying quickly. We've got 5 goals to the visitors, Lavington, to the home team 2 here on the 777 Automotive scoreboard.
So Panthers just taking their time across the court, as Laracy's just called out of play for obstruction, and Plunkett just dominating that circle. Soph Hanrahan gets a hand on the rebound, so M. Stewart to take the throw in.
Clever pass there from Stewart, but hands of the Roos in the way, but trickling out into a Panthers hand. So clever play there from the youngster in goal attack for the Panthers.
Again, she's trying to find sister Grace, but the other Grace Hay, is just in front every time.
Tam Matthews for the Insight Injury Clinic. What are you seeing over your side?
Well, I think what we're seeing is Corowa, aren't able to use that direct pass into Grace Senior, and there's be a test for them to see how they adjust and use their circle a little bit more. Grace Hay will know how Grace Senior plays very well. She would have studied her, she's played with her, and she will back herself on those balls that are going over, so they do need to adjust here.
So 9 minutes left on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock for this first quarter for Cavalier Homes. And the Roos just struggling to settle into this game.
Yeah, just to find a little bit of rhythm. It's all in the Panthers' favour at the moment, but that goal there from Grace Senior is a little bit of a settler. It did go back and forth over the sideline, the baseline, sorry, of that circle. So a hard drive here from Maddie Lloyd. She's not used, but a bit of a decoy. Brings that ball deep into the Panthers circle, and a clever pass again from Stewart into Plunkett, who rebounds her own missed shot there again. And Jen Barrett just called out of play. So the Panthers increasing their lead here, 7 plays 3 on the 777 automotive scoreboard.
Little fumble there, slippery hands from Chloe Senior. Vice goes straight into Grace Senior under the post. And a great goal from the Roos, so puts them back up to 4 to Lavington 7 on the 777 automotive scoreboard, with still 8 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Hands over pressure there from Soph Hanrahan, just getting a tip on that ball, but it spills over the sideline. So Tony Wilson medalist, Maddie Lloyd here doing a great job feeding this ball into the Panthers. And what I like about the Panthers girls so far in that wing attack and centre, whoever it is, they're waiting till the ball's on the circle edge before they feed it, which is very different to what Corowa-Rutherglen are doing. And Maddie Plunkett there taking a longer range shot, opting to step in, so unbalanced. Great to see the confidence from her this early in the game.
Definitely a warning shot there to the Roos, who are finding a little bit of connection there. Senior to Senior, and Chloe Senior finishes off the shot, so brings them to 5 to Lavington's 8 on the 777 automotive scoreboard.
And those long arms of Hanrahan again, 2 touches in the space of 2 passes. That's the dominance she can have, but it'll be interesting how her legs and the fatigue starts to build in. So what they opt to do here with Simpson being wide, if they double play Plunkett, or opt to not and step on. So M. Stewart there, another crucial goal for the Panthers. 9 goals, plays 5 here with about 7 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
And Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. How is it lining up there between Steph Clancy and Maddie O'Keefe?
This is going to be a great contest, I think, the rest of the day. Maddie's in on Steph's body, and Steph's really getting called a little bit, probably too much. She's going to have to adjust to that and get off the body, because the umpires have called her a few times now, and particularly in that attacking third. You can't afford to give them a free player in that third.
Well, the Roos, connecting there for another goal. So we've got a 3-goal game here. First quarter action being brought to you by Cavalier Homes, but that didn't even touch Emily Stewart's fingers then. Jen Barrett came flying, which she timed it perfectly, but Stewart just got fingertips, flicked it to Plunkett, but couldn't come off with the goal. So definitely a 3D Lanes highlight of the day, and it would have been more so if it had finished with a great goal. But Chloe Senior here in the opposite goal circle now. Grace Senior, sister, using the space in front of Maggie Thompson.
So she's out wide, a long-range shot. She'll pass off to Grace. And once Grace gets her eye in, she's pretty unstoppable. There's another one. So the Roos now just trailing by 2. So we said sometimes they start slow, but it's incredibly unusual for it to stay that way.
And Grace Hay again. I think the Roos are going to have to really rethink that option. They are trying to feed way too far off the circle, and Grace Hay's really got her timing and her footwork down pat to start this game and can be really dominant. So they're going to have to take an extra pass and hit the circle edge to have a better feed into either of those senior sisters.
Stewart goes long to Lloyd. And Jen Barrett just again out of play, so giving the Panthers a few too many opportunities at a goal. And the attempt to go back to back here. Lloyd looks in, takes the little one to Plunkett, and there's the danger of Sophie Hanrahan. No pass is ever safe with her hands.
Yep, and I think that matchup between her and Emily Stewart, particularly if Soph hedges that space, Em Stewart will start to get a little bit confused about how much space she actually has, as well as the feeders bring the ball in. But the Panthers, the Lavington Panthers, Corowa-Rutherglen on 7, thanks to the triple automotive scoreboard.
Beautiful pass in there. O'Keefe to Grace Senior, and she slots another one. So still opting for the feed, the long lob, but just looking to change it up a little bit with the timing.
And that was a little bit better because Maddie O'Keefe was that bit closer to the circle edge, so it just limited the hands to make the pass a little bit crisper in there. But a great defensive rebound from Hanrahan. Can't capitalise quite, but again, great hands over pressure and capitalising on the rebound of M. Stewart's missed goal there. Larissy being an epic work rate, bringing an epic work rate, I should say, onto that circle edge. And hey, she's been brilliant. And Maggie Thompson coming up there. That's the 3D Lanes highlight of the day, taking that knock, which was all in the rules of the game. And the Panthers here looking to transition quickly, bring this ball down. About 3.5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
To Manuel, goes to Stewart. She'll work it round. Umpire's called contact against Hanrahan. So M. Stewart sinks another one for the Panthers, who are on song in this first quarter for Cavalier Homes. The Roos just looking a little panicked in the Isery.
Just having to take that extra second. I don't think they've had that competitiveness to actually have to wait and hold on to the ball for that extra second, if I can find my words. But I don't think it's a bad thing either, and they've really started to settle into that. Sometimes making those changes takes those couple of minutes, and we saw Maddie Keefe's work rate then to get the ball and hit circle edge rather than ping that ball from the centre third line.
And you're exactly right, Ree. As Grace Senior sinks another one for the Roos, this is probably the first time in the season that the Roos have had to come from behind and just really been challenged like this.
Yeah, and I mean, they're the hunted, so they should be prepared for it, and it's a good thing for them, I think. So whether or not the Panthers can stick at it, we will see. And in the hands of Plunkett, they're sure in good hands. So she's on fire. 13 plays 9 here. First quarter action thanks to Cavalier Homes.
Ball in hand of Bice, centre. Goes wide to O'Keefe. And again, just playing around the circle. That's 3 passes that have gone edge to edge there for the Roos. They are struggling to feed it into their shooters. Grace Senior makes an option.
And I don't think Coach Georgie Bruce will be happy with that one because it literally went from one pocket to the other 3 times. Neither attacker had moved. And this is how quickly the Panthers can transition that ball. 3 balls, end to end, and a goal to finish. So 5 goals here, 14 plays 9 on the 777 automotive scoreboard. Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the last few minutes of play.
Well, it was interesting. A couple of centres ago, Corowa set up completely different. Maddie came out, Chloe dropped straight back, and Grace came out. And Grace needs to get more mobile, get out, take Grace Hay out of that circle, keep her busy. Chloe is a brilliant player, and she, in a one-on-one with Maggie, should be able to back herself. So I would like to see Grace doing a little bit more moving.
And really interesting to watch Grace Senior move, because I feel that she's probably too concerned with Grace Hay. In previous games, she's dominated that space and she's dictated her team, whereas Grace Hay's such a threat this week so far that, you know, she has to be really wary of her.
And a really interesting ball there from Soph Hanrahan. She threw it into the space in the centre third, but I think she thought there was someone there and there was no one. So a really, really unforced error from them. So I think come quarter time, they'll be having a few words about that because these Panthers girls have just taken a goal from them for that reason.
So Bice goes to O'Keefe and Grace Senior's out. Again, just struggling to find clean options. And Grace Hay is just incredibly tight on Grace Senior, and a missed goal there, but a good rebound.
Yeah, Maggie Thompson doing all the effort there to try and keep it in, but just couldn't get 2 hands. So Corowa-Rutherglen notching one back. We've only got a few seconds here before quarter time, so it'll be interesting if the Roos can hold the Panthers out to this. Here, the home team, Corowa-Rutherglen, trailing 10-2, the visitors, Lavington, 15. That's our first quarter action on O&M Live, and we will be back with the second quarter action very soon. Just remember that on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere, and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here, at the locker room, at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything. Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between. Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration, and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
inspiring,
hands-on,
flexible, fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan Intelligent Mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
They really shut her down, just doing all the work here, and you can see the work rate. Again, another held ball there from the Panthers. Interesting that the Roos didn't opt to swap the shooting combination of the senior sisters around, but they're obviously wanting to really work with the 7 that they have and settle what they had. We saw a few minutes there where it looked like they were coming back, but the Panthers just kept that lead and pushed a little bit further, being very patient, and they're getting the ball in prime position for Maddie Plunkett as she notches our first goal of this second quarter, with the second quarter action being brought to you by 777 Automotive.
Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. You were listening in that first quarter break, and what did you hear from the teams?
A similar message in that both coaches asked their sides to work it to the circle. Don't force it.
Just having a few technical difficulties there. But yeah, Tam's exactly right. I think we spoke about it, Ree, in that both teams just need to hit the circle edge before they feed it in. And speaking of feeds, Soph Hanrahan gets her first goal assist of the day into Grace Senior. Unusual, but if anyone can do it, it's Sophie Hanrahan.
Maddie O'Keefe here with the ball. Oh, loopy ball there, and Grace Hayes, she saw it, but she opted to not drive out. Senior here, ball prime position for her, about 2/3 of the circle out. Nets another goal. So how quickly this lead can come back. 16 plays 12 here in favour of the visitors on the second quarter scoreboard. Thanks to Cavalier Homes, a week in Bali. I've lost everything.
Rhea, I believe you were actually listening to the game while you were in Bali. Is that correct? You're on holiday. It's a Saturday, And Reed's got the Netball on. That shows the commitment.
While I was having a sneaky cocktail by the pool, why not? Had the AirPods in. But Maddie Plunkett there, she's just looking so comfortable in that circle. She's really worked out Jen Vine and how to hold her really well. So expect to see that continue from her as the game progresses. But Hanrahan, a 3D lanes highlight of the day, but flirting with that baseline just a little bit too much, half a centimetre of a foot. But here she goes again, a little tap over the ball, and the Roos here on the attack so quickly. Senior to senior, but Clancy offside.
That is unlucky for Clancy and particularly lucky for the Roos. There's a lot of speed happening from this team, and I'd probably like to see them slow down just a little bit when they hit this edge, because the hands of Grace Hay are just in everything right now.
Timing the ball to perfection, which is a real credit to her and the work rate she puts in. Maddie O'Keefe then actually gave it to a player that was standing still, which made it easier for Hay. So that'll be something she needs to be aware of and make that change. But Hanrahan here putting the pressure on Plunkett, and the ball spills out. So Larissy now on the attack, opts not to give to O'Keefe, down to Chloe Senior, who lobs it into Grace Senior. All the pressure from Hay, but she stays in play, able to put her hands up, but Grace Senior, with a repeat effort on the ball. It spills out again, but she manages to gain that rebound. Chloe Senior here with a knock, but Grace Senior pulling that ball in, finally getting that little settler shot. So 4 shots from her to 1 goal. We've got 17 plays 13 here with about 12 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
And Soph Hanrahan just runs down Steph Clancy. She goes down, and the umpire just calls time as they retrieve the ball. So the Panthers just having a really cracking second quarter for 777 Automotive.
Really changed up how they're attacking the defence, their defence around Maddie Plunkett. They've tried to really change that up, which is great to see. They've reevaluated, but Plunkett's still under all that pressure, and she's shooting some beautiful goals.
So Brooke Bice looks long. And Grace Senior just falls out of court. The swish, what a 3D lanes highlight of the day.
She just makes it look so graceful. And
she does.
Pardon the pun. Just, yeah, really, really fantastic from her. And to do that off balance is really, really clever.
Maddie Lloyd goes into M. Stewart. Mid-range. Now closer, and a beautiful shot from her. She's been incredibly accurate under the post today. Pushes Lavington up to 19 to the Roos 14 on the Cavalier Home scoreboard with about 10 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Maggie Thompson then really working the body of Grace Senior, putting the pressure on, but Grace Senior nice and strong there. I'm not sure. Tab Matthews for the Insight Injury Clinic. Can you hear us? We might have to bring you back over our side. Yep, we've got nothing. So if you want to come back over to our side, we might have to work that out from this side. Interestingly, the Panthers have been able to maintain this 4-5 goal buffer. As I say that, commentators curse because Maddie Plunkett missed that one. But Ange DeMamil here, off to wing attack in Maddie Lloyd, taking that extra second, which is really great. They're really letting the attacking shooters come forward to them rather than pressuring that ball in. So 5-goal lead here, still to the Lavington Panthers 20, plays the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 15.
Another centre pass there from the Roos, just goes completely rogue. Bice looking to connect to Hanrahan, but it just goes out of court. So the Panthers given another shot at a goal here, and a really steady play from them so far. Just happy to take their time, work it round. See Stewart, she goes back to DeManuel. Offside call. Just a bit of confusion here with what the call is, but Stewart picks it up and goes straight to Plunkett, who is a very quick shot.
So the Roos won't be happy with that one. That's off their own centre pass. So to get that one back is going to be really crucial. But we see Maddie Plunkett out a little bit wider. Pressure coming from M. Larissy on that circle edge. Both she and Maddie Lloyd have just been going about their business nicely in that wing attack, wing defence tussle down in the Panthers attacking end.
Yeah, and at the quarter break, I'm back. So just asked the Corowa defenders off the circle, wing defence centre, to just to step up and maintain the intensity, and said, if we do that, they will come, but we need to up the work rate. It's going to be hard work, but we have to do it and wait for the rewards to come that way. So.
And you can see that here reflected. The Panthers have had to take quite a few passes in their centre third before even penetrating that attacking third. And Soph Hanrahan flying through, but just off balance. And Grace Senior did her best to really fly through for that ball, but it was just on the wrong angle for both her and Grace Hay. And clever from Grace Hay then to not try and chase it down and let it dribble over the baseline. So the Panthers here with the opportunity again, but you can see the work rate of the Roos has really stepped up there. Larissy, fortunate contact just on that last second, but looks like a contact off the ball here from Maddie Plunkett. So let's see if the Roos can transition a bit smoother. And Hanrahan clever then. She didn't let the Panthers set up. She opted to take the penalty pass nice and quickly.
And look, it's almost unusual for the Roos to use Soph Hanrahan so much on that transverse, but it just shows what great defence the Panthers are doing, as Chloe Senior takes another one for the Roos. So still trailing by that 5-goal margin on the Cavalier home scoreboard. And the Panthers just, was that a breaking call?
Breaking call, and probably the opportunity for the Roos. They seem to have a bit of momentum there after the defence of both last couple of centre efforts, just for a breaking call just half a second too soon. So heavy defence there to attack from Maddie Plunkett. She was really trying to use her body, but Soph Hanrahan timing the ball off to the circle edge nice and quickly, and that is the damage that the Roos can do. Grace Senior here starting to work Grace Hay out and position herself a little bit differently. And what the Roos have started to do is actually to put in the balk first, get someone out of position, and then put the ball in.
Yeah, I think the first quarter she was wanting to go in deep into the back space. She seems to have turned her body, and now they're putting it out into the space in front of off the side. So she's got Grace in behind her, but she's still got plenty of space out to the side of her. So angles are slightly different there.
Another goal for Maddie Plunkett for the Lavington Panthers, puts them to 23 to the Roos 18 on the Cavalier home scoreboard, and we've got under 6 minutes to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Steph Clancy here for the Panthers, out of play on that transition line, but Brooke Bice just putting a little bit too much pepper on that bounce pass, and the Panthers now looking to attack using both defenders, all three defenders, sorry, to transition that ball and one sideline. So really great play from them. 5 passes into Plunkett, finishes it off nicely with a goal. So we've got a 6-goal lead here on the 777 Automotive second quarter.
The Panthers just looking incredibly comfortable with the connections, just giving and going. But Maddie Lloyd does the exact opposite, a held ball there, called by the umpire. So the Roos, they've got a chance to pull back some momentum for this final 5 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
And you can see Sophie Hanrahan, she's just willing her team, she's just thrown one away there of Kirsten, but she's willing her team just to step up, take it another notch. She's done some beautiful stuff this quarter, created some turnovers, and she's just, you can see her almost pleading with her teammates to come on, let's up the ante, we're still in this. So
Maddie Lloyd goes back to Thompson. A little touch there from Bice puts her out of play. So you're exactly right, Tam. The Roos just having a crack at everything, but still need to stay in play, because it's not going to help if they get out of play each time.
Be interesting on the replay. Larissy's foot, I reckon, if anything, it was only a smidge inside that circle. So well done for the umpire to pick that up, but a great effort from her. And Em Stewart netting a nice settler there from the Panthers after a few probably not as smooth centre passes for them. So 7 goals here to the Panthers, 25, leading the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 18. The second quarter scoreboard, thanks to Cavalier Homes.
And delivered a ball to Grace 2-on-1, and she's just popped up between the two defenders and managed to pull that in. So it was a fantastic achievement and goal there. And Lavington take off from their centre, and this is where Corowa are holding them up. But Lavington's patience, and we saw this against Yarrawonga, is incredible, and they just need to stay at that and not force it. And they did talk about that at the break. Work it to the circle, be patient, and not force any long balls. And interesting, Corowa's coach gave the same instructions. So.
Yeah. 3.5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, and Grace Hay picks up another stat. Brilliant intercept from her. And the battle between Hay and Senior has just been integral for where this game is going.
Battle of the Graces today. It's been very, very epic.
I think it's interesting what's being highlighted is how much they look to Grace Senior as their first option. And obviously as a coach you want them to look down court, but they're almost become so reliant on her, and they're finding it hard to adjust to that now. And and I wonder if it's the time to pull Grace into a goal attack, just to stop that, the forcing the long ball and force them to do something different.
And interesting here, the Roos have pretty much, both of the last transitional plays have used the opposite side of the court and pretty much been stuck to one channel. I think they will need to bring it back into that centre channel for that better delivery of the ball. They did come up with the goods and finish with a goal, but Panthers here have replied already. So they maintain this 7-goal lead, 27 plays 20, with only a few minutes left to play. 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
So Corowa off the line, Chloe Senior, nice ball over the top to Maddie O'Keefe, who's using that backspace. When she starts on Steph and drops into that backspace, she's finding some nice positioning on the ring, and Chloe will take the pass in off the baseline.
Chloe Senior lines up and sinks a really good settler for the Roos, but Ange DeManuel has this centre pass for the Panthers. And with only less than 2 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, the Panthers are giving themselves a really nice lead for the second half.
Stewart there finding a great ball placement to Plunkett right in front. Plenty of space for her to move into and really take that ball strong. So she nets another one. 28 plays 21 here. Corowa-Rutherglen centre pass and a breaking call again from, I think, Steph Clancy there in wing defence. So all the space for Bice to get that ball into Senior, and she nets a goal here. So we are back to 6 goals, 22 plays 28 on the Cavalier home scoreboard.
And DeManuel finds Lloyd off the centre, and they're just being held up slightly here. And Cora forced the big one over to Steph Clancy. It's gone out of court, and Cora are going to get a chance to get one back here. So Jem Barrett finds Em Larity. They're going to have to move it fairly quick. There's not a lot of time left. Maddie O'Keefe to Brooke Bice. She looked in, she waited. They're going to use a circle and work it in. And they do find Grace out the back, but she's going to take a shot and probably sink it, and she does.
And
Beautiful
with
shot
only
there.
45 seconds to go, that's a crucial goal for them with this centre pass here to play. So they have the opportunity to decrease this lead that Lavington came into this quarter with. And Senior, what
Great
strength
rebound.
she has. Great rebound. You can see the look of intent on her face, and it just trickles in. So the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos behind by 4. 24 plays 28 here on the 777 second quarter action. And you can just hear the crowd starting to really lift, and Stewart there missing a goal with only seconds to play here in this second quarter, but she nets the second go at it. So Panthers back out by 5, 29-24. Not very long left here in this second quarter.
So seconds to play, and this second quarter for 777 Automotive has been even. Puts the Roos back in the game. Halftime score, the Panthers still leading by 5, 29-24 on the Cavalier home scoreboard. Can the Roos claw back, or will the Panthers knock off the #1 spot? We'll be back after the break. This is O&M Live Netball, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between,
Manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration, and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
Inspiring.
hands-on,
Flexible. Fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Poulton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
Welcome back to O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors. We are at the John Ford Oval in Corowa, where the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos are currently behind the Lavington Panthers. The visitors still leading by 5 here. The Roos losing by 5 in that first quarter, but an even second quarter.
Particularly the last probably 3 to 4 minutes, we saw them really switch on and change up a few things and really find some pressure and really force some turnovers out of the Lavington Panthers. So look to see that continue in the start of this third quarter. They'll want to take that momentum in. I can see already that there's been a few changes on the Panthers court. So some height, which they already had in that defensive line, but increased with bringing Taylor Ferber on in wing defence and Sarah Meredith into goal defence to team up with Grace Hay, who we've spoken a lot about already. She's having a really real field day out there, but Grace Senior seemed to have worked her out a little bit more in that second quarter.
And Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinics. We've overcome our technical difficulty. What did you hear in that halftime break?
So Georgie Bruce again asking the Corowa girls to work on their defensive efforts, to force the ball back to the line, steal off the players on the transverse line and stop that ball back. Also asked Jen Barrett just to change her footwork and body angle up to stop Maddie driving back to the post and getting so close. So we can see here they've made a turnover and seeing whether they can move it quickly, and they've been held up by Lavington. So Lavington have made some changes. Tay Ferber to wing defence. And again, they just talked about the patience, working it to the circle and waiting for the opportunity to be there.
Really interesting from the Panthers. Such a dominant first half, but now bringing on the fresh legs. Obviously a lot of height, as we've said, with Meredith and Ferber. So just going to add that extra element, that defensive element they've had.
And we've played probably about a minute here of this third quarter. The Panthers with the first centre pass, but the defensive pressure of Corowa-Rutherglen turned that over. Panthers have turned it over again in a held ball, really uncharacteristically from Soph Hanrahan. And again, the Roos have turned the ball over. So a little bit of tennis to start this third quarter of netball.
And probably a few nerves. This is one of the closest games in terms of ability, and now the score line that we've had all season. There is a really big crowd that is gathering at the John Ford Oval Court right now.
And you could hear the crowd really starting to lift towards the end of that second quarter, particularly when the Roos got a little run on of a couple of goals to bring them to back to this 5-goal margin. So I expect to hear both parties really start to increase as this game progresses.
Little bounce from DeManuel to Stewart, who nails a long shot there, brings the Panthers to 30, to the Roos 24 on the Cavalier Homes scoreboard.
Clever play from O'Keefe there. She went into the backspace behind Ferbra, kind of went around the court to find some space and just had Taylor not knowing exactly where she was. But Taylor Ferbra there getting the hands over those long arms in front of Maddie O'Keefe and using her body so that she wasn't pulled for the contact. So the Panthers looking to transition, and just a bit of confusion between Maddie Lloyd and Sarah Meredith, both trying to pull in the scraps, but then it trickles out anyway. So Soph Hanrahan here to Grace Senior, over to O'Keefe in the pocket there. Sorry, and we've just had a pause here due to some bibs being off. So Chloe Senior, she's about halfway between the circle edge and the baseline to take us back into action, and why not netting a nice comforting goal for them. So 5-goal lead to the Panthers, 30, plays the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 25, third quarter action thanks to Martin's Travel Group Albury.
So Ferbera goes to Lloyd, Plunkett's out, and Brooke Bice just gets a hand on it, so Maddie Lloyd to take the throw in. Jen Barrett gives her absolute everything on that intercept, but not to be, and Plunkett, who's just dominating the rebounds today, takes a goal under the post, puts the Panthers to a 6-goal lead on the Martin's Travel Group Albury scoreboard in this third quarter action, also for Martin's Travel Group Albury.
Contact call from Meredith just on the transition line there. So Chloe Senior having a lot of space to get back into that goal circle, and how quickly the Roos respond in the hands of Grace Senior. So we've got 5-goal ball game here, 31 plays 26. Third quarter action thanks to Martin's Travel Group Albury.
DeManuel goes to Lloyd, and Stewart just patient. Contact M. Larissy goes out of play, and Stewart, the little flick pass just to Plunkett.
It's looking to get the defenders out of the way and getting their eyes down. So taking that little extra step and the little bit of a balk. Tam Matthews, thanks to the Insight Injury Clinic. We've played about 4.5 minutes. What are your thoughts over on the sideline?
I'm just watching Grace Hay and Grace Senior. We've talked a lot about, obviously, Grace Hay's influence today. Grace Senior's slightly changing up her body position, we've seen, and we saw it towards the back end of that last quarter. Instead of dropping back, she's wanting to come forward more, and I think that's really smart play. She's strong on the hold, and she just needed to change the direction she was moving in, go to the ball, and make it a clean pass in.
I'm just having a few bib issues on the court. I think there's a little bit of breeze and they're just slipping off, or if some bibs got tangled there. So I think they might be looking for a new set of patches. They are. So hopefully these ones stay on the Velcro. Not always reliable. The next come out is the strapping tape to keep them on that little bit stronger. But Grace Senior here, she won't be worried with having a few seconds before taking this shot as she nets it. So we're back to 5. 27 plays 32 here. About 10.5 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Ferbera goes to DeManuel, and Plunkett just moves around, but a really unfortunate offside call there for Larissy, I think. So the Panthers get a second shot, and Em Stewart just nailing those rebounds today.
Just really timing the angle at which they're coming back to attack the ball, which can be really hard, particularly when you're up against tall defenders like Soph Hanrahan and Jen Barrett. So she's really positioning her body well. But Soph Hanrahan here replying onto O'Keefe, to Grace Senior coming out at the top of the circle. O'Keefe deep in the pocket. Clever play from her to get Taylor Ferber right out of the way so those long arms can't be influencing what pass she puts in. But it's just swinging deep into that pocket. There was actually no movement in a drive, but it worked because ball goes into Chloe Senior and she sinks another goal. So back to 5, 28 plays 33 here on the Cavaliers home scoreboard. Martin's Travel Group scoreboard.
So Plunkett goes again to Lloyd, but Em Larissy just getting a hand on everything.
And that height differential, and Larissy's really trying to push Maddie Lloyd in the direction she wants to send her. So she's really dictating the play so she can do the best to not get that contact call and to stay in play. As we can see, a really great 3 feet from her. The feed from Lloyd going into Plunkett. It just trickles out. So can the Roos respond?
O'Keefe does her best to pull that ball in, but it goes to the hands of Taylor Ferberer. And the umpire called a throw in here. So Grace Hay takes a throw in for the Panthers on the far side of the court. And another contact call against O'Keefe. So just allowing the Panthers that extra bit of distance to move down the court.
Ferber and Lloyd, they've got a little combination there just off that circle edge. A couple of double plays and Lloyd balking, but the hands of Hanrahan all over that one. So the Roos looking to respond again. Hanrahan to O'Keefe. She's right at the top of the circle, but an obstruction call from Ferber. The height mismatch there is very, very obvious from this end. And those hands of Taylor Ferber, she's so athletic. She can really get over anything. And you can see her here making life difficult for O'Keefe on the circle edge to get possession. But a replay call she will be disappointed with. And Hay coming to grab the scraps here. We
And
see
again, the bib of Grace Senior just falling off. So the umpire's calling a penalty here again against O'Keefe. That is potentially looking near a caution if she keeps that up.
And I think
she just did caution her for delaying play, so that's a caution to Maddie O'Keefe.
Throwing the ball away a little bit. I don't think it was intentional. However, that the umpires can't see that and they have to make a call. So it is credit to the umpiring, though. It does slow the game down and they have to make those calls. So O'Keefe will be wary of that now. And a missed shot there from Chloe Senior. So the Panthers looking to respond here in the hands of Lloyd to Meredith, and she just plucks that one out of the air.
And that's why you love Meredith on the court there. That extra height and just incredible coordination, just ready for anything, really.
And really really beneficial on that transverse line as well. She'll be really looking to be that second pass, as we see Hanrahan here in the opposite goal defence out of play, and Stewart not phased by the distance at which she's shooting by, netting that one. So 34 plays 28 here on the Martins Travel Group Albury. We've got about 6 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Chloe Senior goes to Grace. Under the post, obstruction from Hay, and she finishes off the shot, so puts the Roos 29 to Lavington's 34. So since that first quarter, it's been an even game. The Panthers just holding on to that 5-goal lead.
Lloyd opting to go back. She probably was flirting with the 3-second call and released it just in time, and Larissy does well to stay out of play, and I don't know how the ball ended up in Stewart's hands then, but it did. It rebounds out, so O'Keefe very far away from that circle edge. Probably isn't ideal, but the Roos have transitioned, and it's in the hands of Bice in the top corner of that goal third. She swings out to O'Keefe in the opposite pocket. Ball comes back to Bice at the top of the circle, into Chloe Senior. She opts not to shoot and instead refeeds.
Not looking as confident under the post as we've seen in previous weeks. And I'm not quite understanding why. Her accuracy, Chloe Senior, she's just got the shot, is really good. Yeah. And, you know, the rebound of Grace Senior under the hoop should give her that confidence.
And 4 goals here now with the centre to follow, which the Roos have transitioned easily. So 3 passes into Grace Senior. 3-goal lead here to the Lavington Panthers 34, plays the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 31. The ball in the hands of Taylor Ferber to Maddie Lloyd, and an obstruction call from Chloe Senior. No, M. Larissy just not quite being far enough away. So Maddie Lloyd with a bit of space to give, and Ange DeMamiel finding some space on that pocket. Clever pass from Stewart to Plunkett. She's been so steady in that goal shooting position today.
Yeah, really understands Plunkett's reach. Oh, Taylor Ferber having an absolute crack at that, and she's won the battle between Maddie O'Keefe. So even the defensive switch in Lavington has just proved how much depth they've got on the bench.
And just that height mismatch is really crucial. But Soph Hanrahan, she's been so good off the ball and in flight, and better timing from Jen Barrett then. She really worked her feet, worked her body, and went up for the ball at the right time and came up with that crucial turnover for the Roos. So Larissy to Hanrahan, back to O'Keefe, who finds better space there in front of Demamiel, which is obviously a better matchup physically in terms of the height. And so she might look to exploit that and try and find Demamiel and work in front of her.
Tamara Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. Would you expect to see any further changes from the Panthers or Roos as we head into that final quarter in about 4 minutes' time?
I think both teams will probably stay with what they've got out there. I can't see Corowa changing. I think they've run with it for 3. There may be some positional changes on the court, but I think they'll be sticking with it. And Lavington, I'm not sure what you would be changing given the way they've been playing. That was another caution given there, this time to Taylor Ferber from Lavington for deliberately delaying play with her offside. So umpires are starting to really rein in some of the undisciplined stuff.
And great to see in a close game, because they are the calls that could be crucial in those crucial moments. So Grace Hay, she is just on fire today and definitely a contender for our Urban Greys Player of the Day.
Chloe Senior trying to pass off, goes out to Bice. And Grace Hay again just putting her everything into that. Chloe Senior won that battle, so O'Keefe will take the penalty. But look at the hands of Fervera. They are just so long.
And Maddie O'Keefe then did really well, but Grace Senior recognised that coming off the back here. So 3-goal ball game, 33 plays 36 with about 3 minutes to play on this third quarter. So all the threes are in there. Let's see what the next 3 minutes can bring.
A little late contact from Hanrahan gave the Panthers a second shot. Maddie Plunkett takes that, so maintains the 4-goal lead. Means the Roos just winning this quarter by 1. A good hand there from Ferber, just slows down the play. And Larissy takes the throw in.
I think what I'd like to see is Maddie O'Keefe, particularly for these centre passes, come off the body a little bit and try and find space in that way rather than trying to run with Ferber, because her arms are just going to be too long and get inside that play. So whether or not, she starts off and she's actually not an option for the centre pass and is that next option could be interesting, or just doing a little bit more work off the line before she drives forward.
And there we go. We spoke about the hands of those two defenders, Ferber and Meredith. Come away with the ball again for the Panthers.
Quick hands from Lloyd there, just teaming up with Meredith really well. Couple of double plays and really effortless play from the Panthers to get it into their circle. So the Panthers capitalise on the Roos centre pass and take it back to 5. So 33 plays 38 here with about 1.5 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock.
Soph Hanrahan comes from behind, but it's the strong hands that allowed her to keep that intercept. Meredith tries to get a hand on it, but it'll be a throw-in for Chloe Senior for the Roos now.
She looks to O'Keefe, who I think may have been thinking about the pass that she was going to deliver rather than pulling in that ball. So an opportunity for the Roos late here has gone waning, but Soph Hanrahan, ever steady, always on, turns it over again. So they're looking to transition, but a couple of passes back. The hands of Bice to Larissy, just a little bit too much on it. So the Panthers here, can they bring this ball down to their goal circle? Not too much time left here in this third quarter.
Meredith goes to Lloyd. Throws the bomb in. That's a tricky call, I've got to say. I have no idea who that would have gone to.
I think she thought that there was probably less time than what there was, but we see the same replicated at the other end. So both parties probably telling that their teams that there's a little bit of time left and a little bit confusion about how much of that time there is. So can the Roos stop this play here? Soph Hanrahan definitely thinks they can. She touches that ball, taps it back. So Lloyd into Stewart. Barrett, clever play then to use her body and use that opposite hand, but it's a throw in here to Stewart. So how she opts to use it, there's not a lot of time here. It's rolling down. We have had a few stoppages in this quarter as well. So a penalty late to Hanrahan. Stewart, all the space. So the Panthers are taking a 6-goal lead here late in this third quarter. 39 to the visitors. Lavington Panthers plays the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 33. That is our third quarter action, and we will be back after the break for the fourth quarter. And on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration, and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
Inspiring.
hands-on.
Flexible. Fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.
3. Welcome back to O&M Live Netball from McRae Motors. It is the fourth quarter between the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos playing off against the Lavington Panthers, who have maintained a strong lead throughout the game. The last quarter they won by 1. Second quarter was even, but the first quarter was where it all happened, but they had that 5-goal lead.
And it'll be interesting if the Roos, in the hands of Brooke Bice here, taking this first centre pass for the fourth quarter, who can stand up for the Roos and really make the change here? We saw them start to close the gap, but then the Panthers just pushed out again. So the Roos haven't been in this trailing position a lot this season. So it'll be interesting to see how the push goes. And we can see, and Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic might be able to give us a bit of a heads up on the change here, bringing Grace Senior out to goal attack and sister Chloe Senior dropping into goal shooter for the Roos.
Yeah, look, I didn't hear the reason behind that. They spent a lot of time that break working on the defensive combinations and the setup in defence. So very conscious of trying to stop the ball getting to Maddie Plunkett, which is interesting given that M. Stewart's put a lot of balls up today as well. But a lot of focus is on the defensive work, and there wasn't really much conversation around that. Lavington, on the other hand, were very aware of the Sophie Hanrahan factor and the fact that they're putting it into space where she can get tips to it and that they need to keep it short and low. And as I speak, she's just taken an intercept. So it will be interesting to see who can get some momentum in this first part of the quarter and whether Corowa can come back.
I think if the Roos win today, it's going to be in the hands of Hanrahan, but it's exactly the same for the Panthers, that Grace Hay has just dominated this game so far. She's a main factor in that 5-goal lead in that first quarter, and she is keeping them alive in this potential first win, or first loss, I should say, the Roos could face.
Which, in this end of the season, for them being undefeated, to have a loss isn't probably a bad thing. Probably just brings them back a little bit. And the hands of the Panthers, this is a real confidence booster if they can maintain this lead, which they've now pushed out to 8 goals. 41 plays 33 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
And Sarah Meredith just sweeping in with a beautiful intercept there. Goes to partner and climb Ferbera, who've just been two players that have really stepped into the game as an impact, and also the confidence of having Thompson and Clancy on the sideline, who also had a cracking first half. Just, again, really, like you said, it gives them that boost of confidence for the final few rounds of the season.
Absolutely, and a ball spilling out here, maybe an offside for a toe there from Maddie Lloyd, which she'll be disappointed with. She's always really, really great with that line on the edge of the circle, but the Roos looking to quickly transition the ball, and they do. Got a contact call high on the edge of this circle closest to us. Chloe Senior here opting to pass to sister Grace Senior, well within range. Balks to get Meredith up for the jump, which she loves to fly, and she can time them to get that little flick on the shot. So the Roos responding. 41 plays 34 here. About 12 minutes to play in this fourth quarter action, thanks to the Insight Injury Clinic.
Ferbera goes down to Lloyd and works back between the two. DeManuel swings over, and Lloyd just struggling to feed in, so the defensive pressure of Barrett and Hanrahan really stepping up in this last quarter.
And both Lloyd and DeManuel should be really pleased with the effort that they've put out for 4 quarters in this attacking third for the Panthers. They've both just gone about their jobs really effortlessly and tried to feed the ball from the circle edge and maintain some defensive pressure as that ball comes out, as we see Ange DeManuel putting her hands up all over, and Lloyd as well. So really trying to keep this lead for the Panthers and push it further. But Larissy, she doesn't want that to happen. She's so strong bringing this ball down, being that extra attacker as that ball's coming down the court for the Roos, and Grace Hay there feeding the ball pinpoint into sister Chloe Senior, and that's what they can do, and probably been lacking over these first 3 quarters.
And another stray pass there for the Roos, so a few too many unforced errors there for their side. Probably really feeling the loss of Liv Sinclair, but also Tony Lind, who we haven't seen in the past few weeks in that centre position.
And I think just probably being behind. They're not used to having to claw back a lead, and sometimes that is the bit that you've got to learn and to lose. And credit to the Panthers, they're making it very hard. They're shooting well, they're getting the ball down there well, and again, we're out to a 7-goal lead, 42 plays 35 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. But coming, from behind when you're a team that hasn't lost all year is really difficult. And for the Roos, if it is a loss, it's probably a good time for it to happen.
Well, look, it's incredibly hard to go through a season undefeated, and then to do finals without a loss as well is certainly something that is unusual. So for the Roos, I think they should take plenty from this, but it's certainly not over yet. As Meredith just called out of play. Grace Senior takes a beautiful calm shot under the post, puts the Roos back to 36 to the Panthers 32 on the X-Ray Group scoreboard, with under 10 minutes to play on the Jacob Toyota Used Cars time clock.
And the Roos here with the opportunity, that goal, and then the centre pass to follow. They've got it down into their goal circle. It's in the hands of Grace Senior, ever steady and netting that goal. So back to 5, 42 plays 37 here on the Insight Injury Clinic.
Meredith goes to Lloyd. And back up the top to Ferbera, but Larissy gets a beautiful hand on it. And straight into the hands of Grace Hay.
And that's just one of those things, unbalanced. Didn't want to get called for the footwork, so rather pass the ball. But hey, she's just been on song today. Tam Matthews, thanks to Insight Injury Clinic. We've got about 9 minutes to play here. What do the Roos need to do to bring back this lead?
I think they need to do what Lavington have done and shorten it up. Just play short, smart, play it to the safe player, the player in front. They're just trying to force far too many long balls and not going to the first option and the best option. And that sometimes is around work rate. You know, you have to work hard to do that. But I think they need to do it. Maddie O'Keefe, I think, has adjusted the way she's playing on Tay Ferber this quarter. She's let a ball go there, but I think her ability to get in front of the player has been a lot better this time.
I have to say, though, the height difference is definitely looking a bit difficult. O'Keefe almost kind of looking around her player as if she can't see. Probably just needs to use the feet a bit more, get on the move and move around it.
And that might be an experience thing as well, and something to come, and they will reflect on that and see what they can do. But credit to the Panthers, they've just been really nice and steady. Even when they've turned a ball over and it hasn't gone in their favour, they've worked hard defensively to get it back again. And Plunkett has 2 shots on goal there. It doesn't connect, but Stewart finding the net very, very seamlessly. Both shooters being really quite accurate today for the Panthers, and they are on the attack again. 44 plays 37 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. Just over 7.5 minutes to play here in this fourth quarter.
Stewart goes again, and a beautiful shot from her just pushes the Panthers further. 45 to the Roos 37, the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Maddie O'Keefe then flirting with that centre court transition line, the transverse line, but she manages to keep it in play and gets Tay Ferber out of play as well. So Bice onto Chloe Senior, who passes it into Grace Senior, but just spilling over the baseline. So the ever steady hands of Grace Hay. She's been instrumental in this lead for the Panthers all day. On to Meredith. To DeMamio, back to Meredith, into Ferber, but
Grace Senior got a hand
Senior
on
with
that.
the little 1%er there. So sister Chloe Senior in for the goal. So we are back to 7. 45 plays 38 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
Lloyd takes the centre pass and just again utilises Ferber on the transverse, but a contact call. So Barrett to Hanrahan. The
Ferber opting not to put a hand out for that because she knew it would be the contact call. So clever play from her there. Chloe Senior netting another one back. Is it a Roos centre to come? It is. So O'Keefe. The hands of Ferber again causing difficulty. Chloe Senior to sister Grace. The quick transition. We are back within 5. 45 plays 40 here with only 6 minutes to go in this fourth quarter.
Umpires called Soph Hanrahan out of play. A lot of whistle. The umpires really trying to rein in this game as Maddie Plunkett goes again. So Lavington holding on to that 6-goal lead as the Roos just transitioning quick. They know that time is not on their side. 5 minutes to play on the Jacob Twedder use time clock.
Maddie O'Keefe finding a better connection there with Chloe Senior and the timing of the pass, and the Senior sisters finding that connection between each other. But Chloe Senior, she probably will be kicking herself that she didn't net that one. And the height of Tay Ferber, that's how crucial just that little bit of height can be, because that was a little bit of a hospital pass, but she comes through. Grace Senior, though, looking to replicate it, but she's just outside this sideline there. So Tay Ferber on to Maddie Lloyd to centre Ange DeMamio. Their connection today has been really seamless and patient and just really finding their shooters in the front spot.
And a beautiful shot there from Em Stewart as DeManuel takes another centre pass. So Panthers looking to extend their lead to 8, and if they can bring it to 8 with under 5 minutes to go, the game is looking pretty locked in.
Yeah, getting past that 4 goals has been really tricky for Corowa today. They kind of get there and then it pushes out again very quickly. Credit to the Panthers. So 48 plays 40. Corowa-Rutherglen on the attack with their centre pass in the hands of Grace Senior to sister Chloe. Looks over, looks and sees that the defender's eyes are both down and just pings that ball in. So Grace Senior netting another one. 41 plays 48 here on the Insight Injury Clinic fourth quarter action.
Stewart goes back to Ferbra, and there's a turnover. Soph Hanrahan, the Roos, they've got over 4 minutes on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock. They need to move quickly. 7 goals the margin.
Clever from O'Keefe then. She drew Ferbra forward, then took her back again and got the space to herself, feeding the ball into a really pressured pass from Grace Hay into Chloe Senior, who now has the option for the throw-in, but a contact call at the top of the circle. The feed from O'Keefe in to Grace Senior, who completes that goal. So Corowa-Rutherglen with the centre to come. 42 plays 48 here in this fourth quarter. Grace Senior finds sister Chloe Senior, opts for the pass over the steady hands of Sarah Meredith. Just can't get there. So Corowa-Rutherglen on the attack. They trail by 5. 43 plays 48 here with about 3.5 minutes to go.
Ferbra for the Panthers looks panicked. Goes back to Meredith. So the Panthers working the ball around, not afraid to take their time. Soph Hanrahan's massive hands, but back into the hands of the Panthers.
And well done to Ange DeMamiel. She really got the scraps of that. She held her body nice and strong as Soph Hanrahan went flying. And just that 5-goal buffer that we spoke about can't be seemed to be penetrated. The Panthers back out by 6.
And there we go, another turnover. The pressure from the Panthers just too much for the so far undefeated team. With 2.5 minutes to go on the Jacob Toyota used cars time clock, it looks like this will be the first time the Roos have lost in 2022.
Tam Matthews for Insight Injury Clinic. Who have been your standouts on court today?
I think it goes without saying Grace Hay has just been phenomenal for Lavington. I think she set them up right from the start. She gave them that momentum and really got them up and about. Em Stewart, I think, has had a fantastic game. Her and Maddie Plunkett are sitting on similar amount of goals, and that hasn't happened much this season. So I think, she's quietly gone about her work and just been really steady down there for Lavington. Obviously, Soph Hanrahan for Corowa has been as strong as ever and is just giving absolutely everything to try and claw this lead, this margin back. But unfortunately, she sort of hasn't got much support there at the moment. So they're my pick. At the moment.
We've got about a minute, just under 2 minutes, to play here in this fourth quarter. And the Panthers back out to 8. 51 plays 43 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard. Interestingly, yes, we said that buffer of 5 goals can't seem to break, and it hasn't yet. The Roos here just really running out of time, but a better couple of plays for them late in this fourth quarter they'll be happy with. Chloe Senior there notching another goal. So 44 plays 51 here on the X-Ray Group scoreboard.
So a throw in here. Sarah Meredith for the Panthers goes to Ferbra again and to Lloyd. So the Panthers just taking their time. They've got the scoreboard on their side. There's no need to rush. A minute to play and the game is theirs. This will be the biggest upset of the season so far.
And a great time to do it too, considering they haven't played each other since round 1. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of netball to have been played. That's probably a few injuries for both to have been sorted around. And Em Stewart, she's been on song in that circle today. Credit to Ange DeMamiel and Maddie Lloyd in that wing attack and centre combination for the Panthers. They've really just been, as we say Ange DeMamiel's name, that's a 3D Lanes highlight of the day there. She's great over the ball like that. But they've been really patient on the circle edge. They haven't tried to force the feed into Plunkett, as we've seen possibly happen in previous weeks. So I think Linda Robinson, the coach of the Panthers, will be really happy that there hasn't been a lot of ball thrown away. And we're just seeing hands over pressure everywhere from both teams. DeMamiel to Ferbra, taking heavy contact there from Soph Hanrahan in full flight. Onto DeMamiel, close to that circle edge, but not quite there, but that doesn't matter. She passes it to Plunkett, who rebounds on to Stewart. So Em Stewart here netting another goal there. So the Lavington Panthers sealing the win here. A nice 9-goal win from them. 53 to the visitors in the Lavington Panthers. Plays the Corowa-Rutherglen Roos 44.
What a win from the Panthers. They led from the start and didn't drop a quarter. That 5-goal lead in the first quarter was just everything to them. And I'm incredibly impressed with their ability to keep a really consistent side, switch up the defence for an entire half, bring on some fresh legs and just really build that lead. What a confidence boost that has to be for them.
Oh, absolutely. And it's probably something they've been building towards all season, as we see Tam Matthews getting our Urban Greys Player of the Day here in Grace Hay. And it's safe to say that Grace Hay has been probably the difference, particularly in that first quarter. Just bring that down a little bit, Gracie. Congratulations. You were instrumental in this Panthers win here today.
Yeah, it was a great win. Great effort by all the girls. I wasn't really expecting that at all. I was expecting it to be a really tight contest, but I'm glad we came out with the win.
Gracie, you know Grace Senior well, and obviously you're going to be teammates tomorrow, which is fantastic for the Ovens and Murray. Did you do much homework on her? Did you go back and watch some of the vision? Did you take away stuff from Interleague when you were a teammate about how she plays? Because you were just all over in the first quarter. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I just sort of just keep off the body and work around and confuse that space so that, you know, the feeders have trouble to sort of see where that space is.
And credit to your shooters as well today, Maddie Plunkett and Emily Stewart. They teamed up really nicely, and we spoke about the patience of Maddie Lloyd and Ange DeMamil on the circle edge and not trying to force the feed in from away. They really tried to hit the circle. Was that some of the instructions that were given by Linda during the week? Yeah, exactly. Just getting that ball right onto the edge of the circle so that, there's room to sort of feed the ball in, which, that's something we really wanted to focus on coming into this.
Yeah, and what a win from the Panthers today, Grace. I think as well this has been your best performance of the season individually, but also as a team. How much confidence does this give the team after a few games that were probably too close than you would have liked? Notably Albury a few weeks back. How much confidence does this game give you?
Oh, yeah, definitely a lot. It shows where we stand and how we can come into finals and sort of contest with those big teams.
And Linda Robinson obviously going to the bench, making those two changes in the wing defence and goal defence position. So both goal defence and wing defence playing a half each, and there being no real difference between it. Is that something, the depth and those combinations that you've been working on at training? Yeah, I definitely think so, because we have pretty top heavy with defenders, but that rotation works really well, so it doesn't really matter what we do, it still works.
And it would have been nice for Sarah Meredith to get some more court time. She's sort of been coming on and off fairly sporadically, but today a good solid half against a top side to work that combination with you. So that must give you a lot of confidence going forward too, because obviously she's going to be, really important for you guys in finals as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Grace Hay, well done. A spectacular performance individually, but also team-wise. Grace Hay, our Urban Greys Player of the Day, and it was the Battle of the Graces today, wasn't it? Grace Senior, Grace Hay. Very, very good.
Very good. Thanks, Grace.
Thanks, Grace. Well done.
Well, ladies, what a game. The Panthers just knocking off the Roos for the first time. Tam, how much of a part did the crowd play in that win?
Look, Corowa didn't get as loud as I expected. I kept waiting for the crowd and that to really kind of lift in a couple of those crucial moments, but I felt like more of the noise was coming from Lavington. I had a conversation with Georgie Bruce during the week, and we talked about the expectation that this would be a really tight game, and she was certainly keen for that. Obviously, I'm sure she didn't want the loss, but they haven't been contested a lot over the last couple of seasons, and so going into finals, she's well aware of the fact that they need to have some pretty red hot games to prepare them for what's going to come in finals. And whilst I'm sure they're not happy with a loss, you often learn more from a loss than what you do from a win, and so I think it gives them an opportunity to go back and have a look at some of those things that they've been working on.
And I don't know if our ambience mic picked it up, but the culture that's obviously being brought and created at Lavie at the moment is on song, because the cheer that Grace Hay got from both the A graders, B graders and C graders over on their side of the court is great. And she was just instrumental, particularly that first quarter. She probably got 3 of those 5 turnovers that caused that goal percentage and that difference at quarter time. Interestingly, it was fairly even for those second and third quarters. So Corowa will have a lot to look at. I just don't think they know how to come from behind. They would get that couple of goals on, but then they just couldn't penetrate that next bit. So it'll be interesting how they attack training over the coming weeks for if an instance like this happens again. Definitely don't think it's a bad thing, but it'll be interesting how they attack that and approach that mentality at training.
And I think what we saw today was a really high amount of errors on their part. And obviously, credit goes to Lavington and the pressure they applied that forced those. But there were some really uncharacteristic errors. They were throwing balls out the back of the court and over the sideline. And like I said, that pressure does that. But I think Grace's pressure from the start shut down that option to Grace Senior, and they're so familiar and comfortable with looking straight to her. And once that was taken away from them, they really had to think on their feet and adjust. And I think there are times where they didn't do that, and it took them too long to do it at times. So, I think for me it would be going back if I was Georgie and having a look at the shooting circle and having some other options up their sleeve in terms of the way they move in and out of the circle. There were times where I noticed Chloe was front and free and girls weren't passing her the ball, and whether that's a confidence thing, I don't know. Chloe at times didn't look confident shooting for goal. Maybe her teammates felt that, but there were times they could have utilised her a lot more. Give her the ball, allow the defenders to get back, and then she can swing it out and come back into Grace if that's their preferred shooting option. But I just thought there was a few things there that certainly they'll go away and work on. I don't think any of it's rocket science. Some basic stuff. I think the Maddie O'Keefe-Tay Ferbera matchup was really interesting. We saw the height difference, but again, some of the feeds out from the shooters out to Maddie O'Keefe were right into the hands. There wasn't utilising the space in front of us. So some really simple things I think that Corowa can certainly address, and be a great game next time.
And I think for the Panthers, it's just a confidence booster. They've now got 2 games ahead of the Pigeons. Should the Pigeons win today, they're still ahead. So that's great for them. They've pulled one back on the Roos. I do think it's too late for them to bump ahead of the Roos. I don't expect the Roos girls to drop too many more games, but to have that second chance option, cementing that second position is really, really crucial. And with some confidence to know that, yes, if the Roos finish in that minor premiership position, they'll have the week off, but they've got that real tenacity to push forward in that first final.
And also the confidence in their bench. I think, the only player we didn't see for Lavington today was Liv Sanson. And in saying that, we've seen her ability in previous weeks. So she's tested. They should be confident in her. But to get Ferbera and Meredith and then Clancy and who am I looking for?
Grace Hay?
Grace, yeah, of course. And all 4 defenders on just really gives them all the confidence in a full bench. Whereas the Roos probably weren't expecting the injury of Sinclair, so that's probably been a little bit harder to replace. Again, Tony Lind away, a little bit different.
Absolutely, and I think the other standout for Lavington today was the fact that Maddie and Em Stewart really shared the goal, the shooting load, and that, like I said earlier in the pre-game, Maddie's been putting up the high percentage of their goals, and that's fantastic. But I think when it comes to finals, you have to have other options, because if that player gets shut down, like we saw with Grace Senior today, it makes it really challenging. I think Em Stewart stepped up. As you said, we know they've got Liv Sanson who can come on. She loves a long bomb, so she's got confidence to put those up too. So I think going into finals, they will have a lot more confidence, I think, in just their ability to use those combinations a bit more as well.
Well, ladies, there we have it. The Lavington Panthers, the first to knock off ladder leaders Corowa-Rutherglen Roos, and at the home ground of Corowa. Thanks for having me in commentary today, ladies. Reed Olahenty, Tamara Matthews. Thanks as always.
Thanks, Han, and we'll be on board again next week.
We'll see you then. This is O&M Live, and on O&M Live, you won't miss a thing.
Watching the game at home is good, but watching the game on the big screen with all your mates, all the atmosphere and the great food and beer is pretty hard to beat. And it's all here at the locker room at the SSNA.
0.0% alcohol. This changes everything.
Rewrite the rules. Carlton Zero. The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Looking for somewhere great to eat? Check out Social Dining and Bar. And right now, you can get a seafood basket, served with chips, salad and tartare sauce from just $18. Come and be part of it all at Social Dining and Bar at the SSNA.
From entertainment to news and subscriptions in between, manage select subscriptions in one place with Optus SubHub. Streamline your paid subscriptions and save up to 10%. It starts with yes.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
GoTafe is hiring, and we want you on our team. Flexibility, professional development, generous remuneration, and a staff wellbeing program are just a few of the great benefits we offer. If you have a passion for your skill or qualification and you're looking for real work-life balance, then GoTafe is the place for you.
GoTafe is leading,
Inspiring.
hands-on.
Flexible. Fabulous.
We have dozens of trainer positions and corporate roles open right now. Get in touch today.
Adroit Insurance and Risk, your local insurance advisor, able to tailor insurance programs to support your business.
And we're proud to support our local community.
The new Nissan Navara has landed at McRae Nissan with a tougher, more rugged design, Nissan intelligent mobility, advanced off-road capabilities, and a host of on-road refinement. Test drive one today at McRae Nissan.
Hi, I'm Kylie King. I first fell in love with this region as the Prime News sports presenter. Sometimes this feels like my second home. I love our historic towns and vibrant cities, our passion for sport, and of course the people who make it special. And now I get to share what's important in our region with Kev Polton. So join us, Kylie and Kev for breakfast, weekday mornings from 6 on 2AY and 3NE.